Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio, live and in person. Well, we're not live, but we're in person, both of us. And
I mean, we are alive.
We're alive. It's live for us. Like, this is happening, and it's live for us.
It's very meta. The question is, for all you listeners, is this a beer or a seltzer?
Oh, that's distinctly a seltzer.
Okay. It is distinctly a seltzer. Jeff, you cheated because you saw me open it.
No. But it's the seltzer sound.
But you know that there were enough people out there like, oh, that's a cold Milwaukee's Beast. That was the Beast opening.
Imagine if you started drinking, you only drink Beasts.
But that's the only thing I drank.
The only thing you drank.
Like, not
all
water.
the time. No water.
No water.
Just the Beast.
I always had like a buzz, and I don't want to let go of the buzz because then the hangover kicks in. And the Beast hangover is...
It's legendary. When I was in college, we didn't drink Milwaukee's Beast. We drank a beer in Western Mass called Ice House. You see Ice House? Yeah. And we used to call it Fight House because if you drank enough of them, it just made you want to get into a fight with a bunch of bros. So we call it Fight House.
I've never heard of that. I know that beer. It's
brutal. It's bad.
It's a fine thing you have.
No, honestly, I didn't drink that too often, but we did drink that every once in a while, like bike parties.
Bike parties. Tell me about bike parties.
Bike parties were pretty wild.
We'll eventually get into soccer, but...
Yeah, bike parties usually involved drinking a lot of beer, riding janky bikes around in a circle, and crashing into bushes. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, so it's like the cross-country kids in college that would like
do
run
the beer
and drink
mile
at the same time.
Yeah. We would drink with teams of 4, and we'd drink we'd have like a case of beer. We'd all have to drink like a ridiculous amount of beers and do laps around. Anyway, it was a race. It's called the Drunken Crit.
It's called the who?
The Drunken Crit.
Why is it called the Drunken Crit?
Well, Crit's like criterium. It's like the name of a type of bike race, but you do it while you're drunk, so they call it the Drunken Crit. Or it was called the Moonlit Crit because it's usually done at night under the moonlight.
Oh, it was a romantic thing.
There was romance. There was tears.
Sounds like bromance.
There was females and males. There was all genders involved.
Fluid.
It was very fluid. We didn't discriminate in the bike club.
It's
Everyone's
nice.
welcome.
I like an inclusive community.
It's very inclusive. As long as you like to drink and ride bikes, you were good. You were good.
It sounds like Boys and Bolos. You just have to like to drink seltzer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like on and off on the drinking bandwagon.
When was the last time you drank?
I had a couple beers today.
All right, let's talk about the Premier League.
Let's talk about Champions League first because it's fresh.
Oh, it's a fresh wound.
It's a wound for me. I have no skin in the game this year.
You've no skin. Jesus Christ. Champions League, Jeff. What do you want to talk about? We know who our semifinalists are.
It was a really thrilling game yesterday. Chelsea lost, but they came back and tied an aggregate, and then were winning. Right. For a little bit?
No. We tied 3-1, and we were winning when Alonso scored the goal, but then it was a handball, so it was 4-1. Then we would have gone through. But Real Madrid scored the second, so even though they lost the game in the Bernabeu, they go through with a goal over.
Yeah.
Which is kind of tough because Christian Pulisic in stoppage time had 2 potential chances to get the ball, in the
box. At least on frame.
And he just doesn't get them on frame.
Yeah,
one of them was pretty contested, the second one, but the first one, he's just got to figure out how to get that on frame. And it's probably a goal, which is frustrating because then we take him to overtime. And I felt towards the end that we were actually the more dangerous team in that game throughout. I mean, Benzema had an unbelievable goal. And then Rodrigo had a goal, which was like one of the best passes I've seen in a long time.
From Rodrigo?
Yeah. That ball was just... I mean, the second he hit it, I was like, oh, well, you can't really compete with that. So, it is what it is. I think you can talk about how well a team played when you lose the tie, even though they won the game. And there's no sad, no one's pissed at Chelsea. We played the best we could. We came back. We overturned a tie. We won the game, but we lost the tie. But we overturned, we almost overturned the aggregate against 13-time winning.
I think it's
UEFA
more.
champions.
I think when I think about the tie, I think about how you guys failed in the first game, right? So you should have scored at least 2 goals in the first game, especially at home. That's the real issue, is that you guys gave up 3 goals at home.
Yeah, we give up 2 goals, we go through.
Yeah,
we score another goal, we go through.
Yeah,
Chelsea, is still for me top 10 team in Europe, no matter what.
They literally had
top 8,
two bad weeks, or one bad 6-day stretch or 5-day stretch where they lost.
It's like 96 hours.
Yeah, they got killed by Brentford, and then they lose bad to Real Madrid.
Both at home.
And then they come back the following next 2 games, and they smash Southampton. Smash Southampton.
That could have been 9-0.
Yeah, and then they pretty handedly. I thought that game was. They controlled that game yesterday, and there was 2. I thought the second goal, the Benzema header, was like they should have defended a little bit better in that because they left him open.
Well, that was the one where Rudiger slips,
yeah,
and then he gets brutally punished for a slip.
Yep, but even still, like he wasn't like man marking him. He was kind of playing. He was giving him a little space, and he was running backwards, or he's backpedaling towards him, and then slipped, or whatever it was. But I still think that Benzema probably would have got it either way. But it doesn't matter. They failed in the first leg, and they did all they could in the second leg and just didn't have enough. Came up a little bit short. Now
they were a day late, a buck short. So Chelsea is out. The other team that's out is the 9-time Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich, who go out to 7th positioned in La Liga Villareal, and Mr. Good Evening Unai Emery.
Unai Emery is the cup machine. He's the cup, spiel.
The cup king.
I'm the cup king.
I'm the cup king.
But that team, they're having a moment. They played really well. I mean, they literally have 2 shots on goal in 2 goals in that cup tie. So, will that continue against? They're playing Liverpool next. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they beat Bayern. So anything's possible.
I'm trying to find the stat that was talking about Unai Emery and all the finals he's gone to. It's pretty ridiculous. I can't seem to find it. But this Villarreal team is similar to teams in the past that have maybe overachieved to get to where they are. Them beating Bayern, I think, is pretty impressive. I will say, if you watch that final goal, the goal that put Villarreal through, because I finally was able to watch the highlights today, Alphonso Davies comes on. He really has not played over the last 6 to 8 months because of this heart condition he has. So he gets subbed on. And then Parejo kind of comes to the middle, puts a through ball into the outside. Villarreal, left side guy, whips it in across the box, and then the other guy taps it in. Now, that was on Alphonso Davies' side. He was slow to get back in cover. And I think a healthy Alphonso Davies definitely stops that. It seemed routine, honestly. He just seemed a little bit behind, and he's like one of the faster players, probably top 10 in my mind's eye in Europe. So that was just kind of tough to see for him to come back. And I'm not blaming it on him, right? It was the whole game happened, right? Like he got subbed in towards the end. But I think this raises a larger question. Like Bayern won it in 2020, and before that, a German team hadn't won it since 2013 when they beat Borussia Dortmund in the final. Is the Bundesliga not as strong as other leagues? Only because the 7th team in La Liga knocked them out. If you want to look at what the 7th team would be in the Premier League, and I'm getting it, that's Manchester United knocking out Bayern Munich. Manchester United is dog shit right now. They're not beating that Bayern Munich team over 2 legs. So either Villarreal's really good, La Liga is stronger than we think, or Bundesliga is maybe not as strong as we think, or some mix of the 3. I don't know. I was just left thinking that today because I saw that stat. I'm like, this is the 9-time Farmers League winners. And then they get knocked out to this Villarreal team.
I'm going to not comment on it. I don't think I have the knowledge of the Bundesliga to make a informed comment, but I know there's only like 3 teams in the Bundesliga that are worth talking about, and that's Bayern, Red Bull, Leipzig, and
Borussia Dortmund. And I would say Borussia Dortmund are only relevant because of Holland right now. But once again, I agree. I don't know enough to talk about the Bundesliga. I know somewhere John Scheimer's like, pissed at what we're saying here, but I just think you got to raise the questions.
No. Here's the deal. It's the same way I feel about Ligue 1 is that besides PSG, besides Bayern, all those other teams are pretty good. Like they're good teams, but then when you play them up against top competition, they just come up a little bit short. And what the reason I say that, and they're not at that like Bayern level, or they're not at that PSG level, is because a lot of those players play well and they rack up stats in the league, and then they move on to the Premier League, or they move on to Real Madrid, or they move on to Barcelona, or they move on. You know what I mean? They don't stay there very long. They're always like feeder teams into bigger clubs. They're feeder programs into bigger clubs.
I think Bayern's the exception though, because
no, Bayern isn't. No, I'm saying Bayern isn't. Bayern's like the top team. Like there's one top team in the Bundesliga. There's one top team in Ligue 1. All the other teams below it are just like team players leave those teams and go to bigger clubs. So in my opinion, I don't think the Bundesliga is that much better than, or if it's better at all than even Ligue 1.
Wow. Shots fired. I don't think you're wrong. To be honest, I don't think you're wrong. I think we would have to look.
They have a talent. They can't hold on to talent. They can't hold on to the talent the way that, and they can't pay the players the way that the big clubs can pay the players.
That's what I was gonna say. I think the financial structure in the Bundesliga
is much different.
Is way different, and it's a lot more, rising tide lifts all boats. Whereas the Premier League is like Darwinian capitalism on steroids. It's just like, oh yeah, Newcastle's now owned by a country that has like what, $380 billion at its disposal. Like that's, come on, you can't. Yeah. There are teams in the championship that almost like went under during the pandemic. Like there's levels. It's not equal.
The TV rights are completely different in the Premier League than other leagues, and yeah, just the way the money moves around the Premier League, it's just a lot. There's just a lot more of it, and so. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, in players are going to leave Bundesliga and Liga 1 clubs. Even they leave La Liga clubs and Serie A clubs for even mid-table Premier League teams. I mean, that's telling.
I've been saying this since this Champions League kind of went into the round of 16, is that I wasn't worried about Bayern.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something today. I'm not even worried about City. Because they're just so predictable. Let them have the ball, and then you counter.
So boring.
Like, honestly, Atletico Madrid should have at least had a goal, if not two, in the last 10 minutes of this game. They just could not. They were like a touch away or off balance or didn't focus. And if you watched, it was really telling. At the full whistle, City players celebrated like they had won the Champions League, like down on their knees, like, shaking their fist at the sky. Like, okay, you were away in Atletico Madrid. That is not a fun place to play, but they should have played them off the park in the Etihad, and they should have scored at least a couple goals today. I'm just like still convinced that they are not going to be able to win the Champions League, but we're going to find out, because Real Madrid is a very formidable team, and Benzema is a beast, and most times those guys in the back, and right now they're playing with Laporte and Ake, or Laporte and Stones. Ake, he's around. Diaz has not been out. He's been injured. Benzema's going to give them some serious trouble. His movement in the box is incredible. If you give him an inch, he scores a goal. He's now caused in the 2018 final against Karius, this year against Mendy, and I think in the World Cup final too. He always causes goalies problems just by the way he closes them down in weird times. Ederson, I'm calling this now. Over the two legs, I don't see a situation where Benzema doesn't get the best of Ederson somehow.
I think all Real Madrid has to do is go watch the Spurs City game, where Spurs basically exploited the center backs at City, and they put a big guy right in the middle of them, and he just bossed him. And that's what they're going to do with Benzema. If you think that City's center backs are that good, then you need to check yourself, because they don't get tested nearly enough, and they don't have to be that good with the amount of possession they play, right? And Ederson tries to be. I mean, yeah, Ederson tries to be a sweeper keeper, and he's gonna either make a mistake or just not be able. He's not a very good shot stopper, so he's gonna get beat. I think they just have to go back and watch the City Spurs game and just be like, oh, okay, we know how to beat him now.
I mean, there are case studies. They can go watch the Champions League final. What Chelsea did to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's look at this now. So you have Villareal versus Liverpool, and you have City versus Real Madrid. What team wins the Champions League right now as we sit here today? If it's easier for you to tell me what teams doesn't and why, you can start there. We can define it by...
I think Villarreal is going to have trouble scoring against Liverpool.
With that said, Benfica did score 4 goals against Liverpool over 2 legs and 3 goals at Anfield today.
Fair.
Which, very surprising. Honestly, very surprising. Liverpool was never worried because they had to lose 5-3 or whatever it was, but I was surprised that they gave up that many goals at Anfield in the Champions League.
I don't know anymore. I'm giving up. I give up on predictions. I don't know.
I was going to say I don't know either because I can make arguments. I think the team that is most likely to win it is Liverpool because I think they have City's number. I think Pep will, if City Liverpool get to the final, I think Pep will obviously overthink it again. And I think the pressure will all be on City. Because this is what the Etihad group wants. They want the big ears. They want the Champions League. And Liverpool in recent memories they just won this thing, you know? And they've been there. They've been in that moment. They've lifted it.
My prediction is Liverpool Real Madrid Champions League final. That's my prediction.
2018 rematch.
Agree.
Okay, then who wins that?
I still think Liverpool's going to win, but
I think Liverpool right now are the most likely to win the Champions League out of those teams. Just because also they have a really favorable semifinal draw. I mean, they avoided, obviously they were on that side of the bracket, but they avoided the juggernauts of almost $1 billion on the field and or the 13-time winning team with probably the best number 9 other than Lewandowski. And I say he's better now because Lewandowski doesn't do anything over 180 minutes for me. Okay, Liverpool. I think Liverpool could win it. But I think City might win the league.
Yeah, City probably going to win the league, and Liverpool will win the. I think Spurs are going to take a scalp against Liverpool in 2 weeks.
You think so?
Yeah.
Where's that game?
I think it's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It's on the moon.
It doesn't matter.
A neutral site, Mars.
I think Liverpool is giving up goals, and Spurs aren't, and Spurs have the best. It's 2 really good top 3 players. Like both top 3 guys are really good.
If Spurs pull that win off, that's going to be awesome.
But I think Spurs' back 3 is better than Liverpool's back 3 right now.
Really?
Yeah. Romero is like the best pure center back in the league, I think.
Better than Van Dijk?
Yeah.
Better than Rudiger? Rudiger is really good right now.
Rudiger's okay.
And that's weird for me to say because, once again, we rewind the clock back 14 months. I was calling for his head.
I think Rudiger is a better player, but I think Romero is a better center back. Like a better defender, sorry.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Rudiger's is more dangerous on headers because he's taller, and so he's more of a threat in the box. But I think he's a better out and out tackler and a better defender. I watch Rudiger and I watch Romero, and I don't think Rudiger is that better of a defender.
I'll have to watch. I mean, we'll know because when Spurs played Liverpool, when Chelsea played Liverpool, Rudiger played lights out and we tied him. I'm interested to see. I would take Rudiger over Romero. I also think the market would say that Rudiger is way better, but I'm open to that.
He's not a better player than he's not a better defender than Romero. I think you're paying Rudiger because you're paying a lot for Rudiger. One, because he's on Chelsea and he's won a Champions League and he's top in the league. But you're also paying for a guy who can score in the box and he's tall.
He can score. Yeah, he's German,
and he's German, and he's a little older and a little more experienced. But I think all in all, a better you know what I mean, a better, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that Rudiger's a bad player by any means, but
you're saying taking.
But
we
were shitting on Rudiger 2 seasons ago, right? And,
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I was calling for his head. I wanted them to sell him at all costs.
Right. So let's maybe let's get to the Premier League and figure out what's happening in week 33.
Yeah, I was looking, and for some reason we don't have episode dedicated to week 32, but I know we did it. So anyways, we just didn't call that week 32 or something. I don't know. Instagram, the abyss. We're on week 33. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, we just need to talk about it.
The first game, Brighton versus Boise's, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time.
At the Amex.
Is it at the Amex?
Or is it at Tottenham?
It's at Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, yeah. Tottenham's got this in the bag, baby.
That's 3 easy points the way Tottenham are playing.
Yeah.
The next game is United versus Norwich. And
United seem to love
because Norwich won their last game.
Yeah, but they beat Burnley. Right?
Yeah, but still, that's so important. If you beat the teams near you, that's very important.
They're still going to realize. But bottom line is that United lost to Everton last week.
Yes.
And I think United's MO is kind of giving points away, dropping points to shitty teams.
Yeah,
because they're not that good themselves.
United?
Yeah.
United is sitting in Conference League. United, what did Nader say today? Something about, what did Nader say about, it's like, man, United's so bad right now.
Yeah, United needs to not make Europe.
Yeah, he said that he does not make Europe, or if they do Conference League, then they just play all the youngsters. But I made the comment that, United is so bad that it was that we were talking about the prices of teams.
Oh, I said this.
Yeah. We were talking about the prices of teams, and you said City is Billy, and Nader's like, well, United has a similar amount of money on the field, and you were like, no, not now, because all their players have been downgraded by 15 to 20%. But that's true. How bad United is. They've downgraded the market value of a goat. That's bad.
Yeah, Ronaldo's downgraded. All Harry Maguire, because think about it, a lot of their players were bought for ridiculous amounts of money, and so that's what they thought their value was. But now they've been playing dog shit over the course of 2 or 3 seasons, steady declines. We're not talking about blips. We're talking about guys who are serially mediocre, not bad, whatever. They could be in the starting 11 for most Premier League clubs, but not elite level players, right?
Yeah, but okay, yeah, exactly. Okay,
and so they were bought for say Harry Maguire was bought for 80 million, right?
I mean, Harry Maguire was bought for more than Van Dijk. Harry Maguire is the Kepa of United, way overpriced. And now he's probably worth half what they paid for him. I don't even know.
The problem is a lot of these players are English, so they have the English tax.
Well, he has the slab head tax.
The
slabby tax.
But Pogba probably is downgraded. Ronaldo's downgraded.
Super downgraded. I don't even think Real Madrid want him anymore.
Right, exactly. Well, he's leaving, yeah.
I think
a lot of those players, Rashford, all those guys, they're all that squad used to be worse than Billy. Now they're probably worth 650, 700.
I think it was worth 850, and City was worth 890. In and around. But City sold Ferran Torres, and with the selling of Ferran Torres, then they netted lower than United. So United, I think,
at one point
in the last 3 or 4 months, had the most expensive team on the planet. Which to sit in Conference League in the Prem is not the best look.
Not really their value. That's maybe how much they were bought for. So
oh no, they're down 30 or 40%.
Yeah, they're brutal.
They're United.
That's so rough.
United are the Dogecoin of
Remember last weekend when they lost to Everton, I said to Diego and you, I said has anybody checked on Casey? Because I don't know I haven't heard from him. I can't imagine he's going through good times over.
My only hope for
United
Casey
fandom
is that he realizes it's just a game,
right?
And that you can love a team. I could literally get up every morning and pray to the gods of Godba and Frank Lampard and Gianfranco Zola. It's not going to change dog shit at what happens at Chelsea.
Right.
I could even. There's nothing as a fan.
It's out of your control.
As one singular fan. Even if you are the most prominent podcaster of men's football on the planet.
Even if you go to every game.
Yeah. Nothing changed.
Right.
The ball's going to bounce the way it's going to bounce. There's so many things you can't account for, so it is what it is. But with that said, Casey grew up being a United fan when they were winning stuff every other minute.
Right.
And now, United maybe win an FA Cup. Maybe they win a Europa League. They're probably not even in the Champions League, so Ronaldo's definitely going to leave. Not that that's a problem, but anyways, United is going to be against Norwich, and they're at home. I think this is a tie.
No, I think they'll win, but a tie.
But we said that they would beat Everton.
I know, but I think one of those. You're right. They could do that where they go walk in.
You just said they're gonna drop points to relegation sides.
All right,
let's stick with the theory.
All right, fine. Let's go with a tie. I won't go as far as a loss though, because that's rough.
I'm gonna go a 4-4 tie.
4-4. I'll just go a 2-2 tie.
2-2. Okay. Next game is Southampton versus Arsenal. Arsenal are on a losing streak, and this is at St. Mary's. Good luck, Gooners.
No.
This crazy thing is, I should have already paid John Scheimer.
No party.
No party.
Who's the other?
No Tierney. Just no vibes.
I mean, they got Odegaard.
Odegaard's so nice.
They got Odegaard. They got
Smith Rowe. They got Martinelli. I mean, they got ballers. I've been actually pretty disappointed with Saka. I watched the game last week. I'm just kind of like, dude, Saka, I think he's got to leave. Honestly, I don't know.
He's got to leave.
I just think he's got to leave.
He's got to play with better players.
Because I feel like he has, okay, this is going to be a wild comment. I feel like Saka has the same amount of raw talent as Phil Foden, but he hasn't gotten that maestro to like pull it out of him and give him that confidence to go. Because if you look at those players like physically, they're probably the same speed over 10 yards, probably the same speed over 40 yards, probably can jump as high, probably are like as good with the ball. But Phil Foden has like, you know, his market value is probably twice what Saka's is. Maybe not twice. That's hyperbolic. But like Phil Foden's a world-class name. I think Saka is like a B celebrity. You know what I mean? Like I don't. So anyways, I would like to see him leave.
Well, I mean, it's just they both make the England team, but who starts?
They both make the England team, but who got to play in the Euros?
Exactly.
I don't even think Saka played. Saka did play. Actually, that'd be interesting to see who played more.
Foden played more.
Because Saka missed the penalty.
He didn't. Yeah, but that's because he got subbed on.
Yeah. Okay.
Late. I think Foden. I think one of my biggest problems with with Gary Southgate is that he didn't play Foden enough. That was like one of my critiques. But that's just maybe the system they play. Either way, I think you're right, but I think Foden is a better player right now because he has Pep.
Agreed. Southampton Arsenal, what's going to happen? Sorry, we got a little off track here. I'm going to go with a tie. I just think Arsenal are going to continue to drop points. 2-2. Next game is Watford Brentford. Watford need this dub, and it's at Vicarage Road. I'm going to still go Brentford are going to win this though. 1-0. I don't think it's going to be like exciting.
2-0.
Fair. The next game, West Ham versus Burnley. This is going to be at London Stadium. Burnley lost last week to good old Norwich. They're in fear of maybe even finishing last, which would just be, you know, really the battle of who cares less. I'm going to go with West Ham. Thoughts? It's not at the Moor of Turf.
I think I'm gonna throw. I don't like West Ham. I think they're annoying.
I think every team's annoying. Like that can't be a qualifier.
I don't think that's fine. All right. Well, that's a critique you have of me. That's fine.
Well, you can't name a team you don't find annoying.
I like Leeds. I like teams.
Okay.
I like
Leeds.
some teams.
That's
the reason why I say West Ham may draw this game is because they're dealing with a Europa League game this week, and they're a very thin squad, and they lost Zuma to
thin squad. Declan Rice cures cancer every game. You don't know his value is 200 mil.
A ankle injury. Kick a cat.
Thank you.
Kick a cat.
Kick a cat Zuma. I mean, that dude was like a legend at Chelsea, and now Chelsea definitely do not want to ever play with him again, dude. No. You can't be kicking animals, man.
Also, like, he's a clear downgrade if he went back to that squad.
I mean, he was always hard for him to get time in that squad, to be honest. So,
but yeah, I think a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Next game, Newcastle-Leicester. Newcastle is winning games. They are coming up the table. Now, I need Leicester to win for my bet with good old John Scheimer, so I am going to bet with my. I'm going to say that Leicester win this game because I need them to win. But it is at St. James, and Newcastle have been, to be honest, playing much better since the Christmas break. So, what are you thinking?
I mean, a general upward trend, but over the last couple of weeks, they've lost.
They won last week.
Well, yeah, 1-0, right, or something. But they got smashed by Spurs. I mean, they've been up and down. I think they're out of the relegation zone, so I think the pressure's a little off. But I think right now they're just trying to like gel as a team and find a way to, you know, score goals and involve some of the newer players. But I think Leicester's actually they're on the upward trend. I think they're gonna continue to, you know, win a game here and there and finish probably 8th. I would say I'm gonna predict they're going to finish 8th this season. And I think it's going to be a Leicester win. Away.
That's
big Brendan Rodgers win.
That all sounds right. Tuesday is Aston Villa Liverpool. This week really extends pretty far into the future. Aston Villa Liverpool will be the next game. This game is going to be played at Villa Park. I do not see a way that Liverpool drop points towards the end of the season. I just think it's going to come down to, basically City might win just because they're both going to win out.
Yeah, but how many players is Villa going to take out in this game? That's what their tactic was at the Spurs game, is like go out and just like try to body Spurs players. So they're going to probably have the same tactics against Liverpool. Try to take out a few players, take out some ankles, try to boss them.
I don't know if Stevie G can do that.
What do you mean he can't? What if he can do that?
As the coach, I don't know if he's going to try to set that tone against Liverpool.
Well, they're going to try, and I don't think it's going to work because Liverpool's a lot better team.
Yeah, you beat them if you can't beat them, right? But like Liverpool's just so much better.
Yeah, so I think they're going to get punished.
I think 3-0.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like I just think Liverpool's in a zone, and they're just looking good. The next game, Leeds versus Chelsea. This is going to be at Ellen Road. I mean, Chelsea, I don't even know. We just played the Champions League against Real Madrid. I thought we played really well. I don't know. It's not outside the realm of possibilities that Chelsea go and tie and they drop points. The team will be coming back from Madrid, probably a emotionally drained team. The team also was actually, is Lukaku going to play? I think this is a game if Lukaku's healthy that he starts, because it's like, all right, we can beat Leeds, put Lukaku in, but like Lukaku is so bad. It's and I know I say this all the time, so I'm sorry for everyone listening, but he's so bad it's like impressive. Like he finds new ways to impress me how bad he is.
Yeah, he'll like have a record, like he'll probably like show up with some crazy stat, like only touching the ball like once with like his hip all first half.
Including warm-ups.
Yeah, including warm-ups where like something crazy, like he's like trying not to touch the ball, like he's running away, like actively moving away from the ball.
Do you think he puts bets? He puts like a $10,000 bet that he'll touch the ball less than twice in the first half.
But like
it's like
he justifies it because he thinks he's pulling defenders away from other players in the team.
If you watch this game, anybody watch this game, it's going to be on Wednesday. Just watch Lukaku when Chelsea has the ball in the final third. He stays between the width of the semicircle and the top of the 18. He hardly ever goes outside of that. Now, maybe Tuchel says that's where he needs to be, but he doesn't even move north or south to come up and like in front of the holding midfielder to get the ball or create some depth by dragging out a center back. He's like a tree.
Yeah, I mean, like if you watch like unreal number 9, like Harry Kane
or
Benzema, they will play back. Like they'll track back to receive the ball, to create space, to
drag out a
defender, to get the ball, to create a pass, to create a passing lane to an outside winger. He doesn't do any of that. Lukaku doesn't do any of that. He's as a number 9 in the Premier League, you need to be able to do that. That needs to be part of your skill set, and he doesn't have it, and that's why he's failed in the Premier League every time he's come.
I don't know if you and I can see it, and we're sitting in a basement outside of Boston. Like, what the hell is Chelsea doing? I don't understand. It bewilders me. Anyways, I think Chelsea, honestly, we tie or win this game. I don't see us losing, but I think we could drop points, which is not the coolest because it's letting Spurs and Arsenal think that there's a chance for third, which I think there is, honestly, but I think it's dwindling with every week.
You know who's very good on Leeds, who's not going to be there next year, is Rafinha. He's really good.
Oh, he's very good. I mean, he's Barcelona good.
Yeah, he's Barcelona. He is a top player in the Premier League. He's a game changer. So I think there's going to be some squad rotation for Chelsea, and I think you'll see the core guys be out there, but I think there's going to be a different front three, and then there's going to be a Christensen, Alonso, Aspie, like, one of those the kind of center back thing going on.
I think Lukaku starts, but we'll see. The final game of this week, because the Wolves City game is getting postponed, don't really know why, is Everton versus Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace, and this is at Goodison. Crystal Palace has been, on the ascension. They're currently sitting in 10th. Everton, thank God they beat United, because, the day I put up the post, I think we said they were 65%. I put words in your mouth. I said, Boys and Bolos think Everton has a 65% chance of being relegated. They somehow beat United. because thank you, soccer gods. They play Crystal Palace. What's going to happen with this one? I mean, they're on the cliff of relegation.
I think they need to approach every single game for the rest of the season like a cup final almost, and like try to win, like just try to scrape by.
Do anything to get points.
Tie. Just as long as Burnley drop points, they need to not drop points, basically, right? And so I think Burnley will lose this week. Well, no, did I predict a tie?
Yes.
Then they need to win. So,
or they just need to do what Burnley does.
Yeah.
And not do worse.
Because they're 6 points ahead, 5 points ahead of Burnley.
They are 4 points ahead with the same amount of games. So they just need to not do worse than Burnley. I mean, that sounds so simple, but like that's it.
But if they win and Burnley lose, that's 7. That's a good buffer.
Oh, if they win and Burnley lose, even if that happens twice on every week, if that happens 2 weeks out of the remaining 8, they're fine.
Yeah.
The problem is we've gone through and like
they have a really hard schedule.
I'm surprised. Like one of the wins they got was against United. Like good for them. But I don't know. I just don't know how many more wins they got. But why don't we go ahead and look at a little fantasy because we're coming down to the end and somebody is going to win the $50 hairs and some swag.
They get to pick the swag, right?
Yes, they get to pick the swag.
Congratulations, whoever that may be.
Congratulations. Wow, Will Hayden is first. With Mill City. Oz Atik is second. He is coming, everyone. If you are listening to this, get your shit together. Third, Nick Bailey with City Slickers. Nick, step up. Mitch, you too. I know you listen. Arthur Riggs is up to 5th. Wow, Arthur's coming too. He's got a nice little team put together. Mac Bruce is coming back up. Mac was in first for a while. Diego's down to 7th. Jeff, you dropped to 8th. I'm all the way down to 11th. I mean, this is just embarrassing at this point. Jeff Cronin with Dan Flash's FC is up a little bit, but right now it's really going to come down to probably Will, Oz, Nick, and Mitch. I think Arthur's a little bit too far away, but he's going to need like a triple captain and go to church and get some of that holy luck.
I had a decent week. I think it's kind of locked my 8th position, but I think I could jump to 7th maybe. Or 6th.
I had Son on vice captain. If he had been captain and a triple captain, I'd be
rolling in it.
I'd be getting dirty in the mud. Well, we've done Champions League. We've done the Prem. Anything else that we should share on this episodio?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that City won. I was hoping that I was hoping that Atletico would pull it out.
The king of salt, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Elie.
Well, City's being investigated again for financial fair play.
I mean, it would be so funny. Okay, so City. Okay, let's play this out. Should we just say it?
Yeah.
City win the Champions League.
Yep.
Liverpool win the league. Then, the one thing the Etihad Group wanted was to win the Champions League. They win the Champions League in May or early June, and then by July it gets stripped. And they don't, and then they also can't be in the Champions League next year. And everyone leaves.
Think that any of their titles will be stripped or anything that they win will be stripped. I just think that they'll be barred from transfers and from
playing in the Champions League
next season.
If they're not playing in the Champions League next season, players are going to leave.
Oh, for sure.
KDB's gone. I don't see him staying in a World Cup season, not being able to play in the elite club competition.
I mean, they tried to bar him once, and then they hired a crack team of lawyers, so I could see that happening again. But there seems to be more damning evidence against them.
But who's their crack team of lawyers? Is it like Theranos lawyers? Like they're really doing the most?
I actually think it's just like bribes. I don't think it's like lawyers. I think it's money.
You think it's suitcases full of euros?
Yeah, suitcases full of euro or just like money transfers.
It's just a USB with 300 Bitcoin, and they're like, "Don't look at us. Don't look me in the eye when I give this to you."
Yeah, I mean it is what it is,
Yeah, it is what it is. Very well said. You're a real philosopher tonight, Jeff.
I'm looking at my fantasy. I'm trying to make moves. I'm trying to get up there, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, what you got to do is you got a triple captain, someone that no one else has, and then they score like 4 goals.
I really wish I had Kane and Salah, but I don't. I only have Salah and Son.
I think it's kind of hard to have Kane and Salah without also having like, I don't know, a bunch of Luke Shaws in the back. It's like you kind of gotta, Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining me down here in person. It's nice to have you down here again.
You talking to me or the fans?
Both, but mostly you.
Okay.
And join me next week. Maybe you'll be here, maybe you're not. I don't know where you're going.
I'll probably be here.
All right, good. See you next time.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening and see you next time.